Queen Elizabeth II was born on April 21st, 1926 in London. At the time, no one could have predicted that she would one day become the longest reigning monarch in British history. Her family, especially her father, King George VI, did not expect Elizabeth to ascend the throne because there was another heir, her uncle, King Edward VIII. However, life had a very different path prepared for Elizabeth. Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor, as she was named, spent her childhood in her family home in London. Her father, Albert, the Duke of York, placed great importance on her education. Instead of attending a traditional school, Elizabeth and her younger sister, Princess Margaret, were educated at home by private tutors. They studied history, law, and French. Elizabeth became fluent in French, a skill she used throughout her life during international visits. Her family lived a relatively modest life for royals. Her father, Albert, was less prominent in public compared to his brother Edward. However, this all changed dramatically in 1936. King Edward VIII abdicated the throne to Mary Wallis Simpson, a divorced woman. As a result, Elizabeth's father became King George VI. This event completely altered Elizabeth's life. Suddenly, she became the heir to the throne and began her preparation to one day become queen. Elizabeth's teenage years were shaped by a major event in world history, World War II. When the war broke out in 1939, Elizabeth was still very young. Since London was being heavily bombed, Elizabeth and Margaret were sent to the safety of Windsor Castle. Despite being a princess, Elizabeth wanted to contribute to the war effort like any ordinary British citizen. At the age of 18, she joined the Auxiliary Territorial Service, where she learned to drive and repair vehicles. Her active participation in the war effort further endeared her to the public. After the war ended, Elizabeth's love story began. She met a young naval officer, Prince Philip, who won her heart. Philip was of Greek and Danish royal descent. The couple married in 1947. Their wedding brought joy to a nation recovering from the hardships of war. Elizabeth and Philip shared a marriage that lasted over 70 years and had 4 children. Prince Charles, Princess and Prince Andrew, and Prince Edward. In 1952, Elizabeth's father, King George VI, passed away. At the time, Elizabeth was in Kenya. News of her father's death reached her when she was just 25 years old. Despite her young age, she took on the responsibilities of being queen with great seriousness. Her coronation took place on June 2, 1953, at Westminster Abbey. It was the first coronation to be televised and was watched by millions around the world. Queen Elizabeth II's reign witnessed immense changes in world history. In the 1950s, the United Kingdom was still an empire, but during her reign, many colonies gained independence. Elizabeth supported this transition and worked to maintain good relations with former colonies. The Commonwealth, a group of these nations, became an important diplomatic organization under her leadership. Throughout her reign, the UK experienced significant economic and social changes. The post-industrial revolution modernization, the Cultural Revolution of the 1960s, and the digital age were all key periods during her time as queen. Elizabeth made efforts to adapt the monarchy to the modern world. For instance, she strengthened her communication with the public and participated in more public events. However, Elizabeth's life was not always easy. The 1990s were a challenging period for the royal family. The marriage of Prince Charles and Princess Diana became a major media scandal. Their divorce and Diana's tragic death brought difficulties for the royal family. The public criticized the royal family for not showing enough emotional response during this time. However, Elizabeth gradually rebuilt her relationship with the public and preserved the monarchy's reputation. In her private life, the Queen enjoyed simple pleasures. She loved horses, dogs, and nature. She particularly cherished her time with family at Balmoral Castle. Though she appeared as a formal figure to the public, she led a simple life behind the scenes. On September 8, 2022, Queen Elizabeth II passed away at Balmoral Castle at the age of 96. Her death marked the end of a 70-year reign. Following her passing, her son Charles became King Charles III. Elizabeth's death was mourned across the globe. She was not only a leader of the United Kingdom, but also a respected figure worldwide. Queen Elizabeth II will be remembered for her hard work, humility, and strong leadership. Her reign witnessed some of the greatest changes in modern history, and she played a key role in these transitions. Her life, both as a leader and as an individual, will continue to inspire future generations.